Sarah and Max, an unlikely pair in this wild podcast. They're the perfect flair. Sarah charms, so feminine and free. A Cali girl spirit under the podcast tree. Max a strong force with a punch in every word. Together they navigate the dating absurd. Don't forget to hit subscribe, join the crew for more laughs and tales just for you. Now back to the show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Good for Shidduchim. I'm your host, Sarah Levine. Across from me is my co-host, Max Landisman.
Hi.
Hi.
I feel like I'm on an episode of The View.
Oh, well, kind of, I guess, if the view is me and you.
I hear. There is no view. It's only recording as far as now, but I'm excited to get the show started, right?
Yeah, it's exciting. This episode, we're going to be talking about first dates, where's good to go, and kind of those places to avoid on a first date. Yeah,
so I would love to hear your feedback because I never make it past the first date.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know. but most of the time, I mean, I am working on myself. We're getting there, but this is your line of expertise.
Is it?
Because you're married, so.
Yeah, but I don't know. Teamwork, I guess.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
I'm just good at bashing shadchanim and how to fix matching people up. But the actual dating, I need a lot to be desired.
Okay, so we'll see. It's good to, this is my personal opinion on first dates, where to go and kind of what to do. Yeah. But, I'm a flawed person. I haven't had good first dates either. So it's good to know.
I will say I am fed up with, basically paying for dates, doing anything, activities. There was a friend of mine who actually said, he's like, I take 2 bottles of water and I take her to like a boardwalk or something. And then I ripped on him for, I called him cheap. I'm like, there's no way you're actually getting a second date from that, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But only a few weeks ago, I went to his wedding. So there is something to it. And then again,
okay. Well, that's something that we can
definitely discuss.
Yeah, put into the mix here.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys are new and tuning in for the first time, this is basically a podcast where we talk about dating, good, the bad, the ugly in it. It is focused on shidduchim, kind of more of apropos, I guess, language, and we're going to bring up things that nobody really discusses in the Orthodox dating community, and hopefully it's a safe space for those who are listening and who do want to say what they want to say, because there's a lot to say out there.
We will be doing much bashing, 100%.
We'll do it with respect, and 100%. We'll be kind, but we will be honest.
Be calling it out as it is, because I feel like there's more harm being done nowadays than ever before, and it needs to stop.
Yeah. So hopefully we make this a judgment-free zone, and we welcome anybody's 2 cents. So I guess let's get into it. The first idea that I think is, I don't know why people do it a lot. I guess I'm sure people will have their own opinions on it, but a hotel lobby, what do you think of that?
Personally, I like hotels. I think they're classic places. Everyone's going to tell you, oh, so whatever. I like them because also straightforward. You get a soda or something like that. I will say that if you are Jewish, and I assume people listening are Jewish, and they take a girl to a hotel lobby, you need to tip the waiter or waitress or whoever's serving you. I don't care if you get water, because I'll tell you a little bit of a backstory.
Wait, so back up a little bit. You're saying that if you're in a hotel lobby and somebody brings you the drinks that you guys ordered, that you should tip that person.
You need to tip them, even if you're getting free drinks, such as they'll typically get a couple of glasses of water or something, which is free.
Interesting.
You need to tip them. The reason is because...
Well, I'm sure a lot of guys don't know that. And
most guys don't.
And okay, so that's a good tip.
It's not actually.
It's a good tip.
It's not necessarily going to help you with your date, but it will stop anti-Semitism. That's for sure.
Okay.
Because I will.
This is not a political podcast.
No, I just want to say my story.
Yes.
So I did work. For one summer, I worked at the Sheraton Hotel in Eatontown, Pennsylvania. Not Pennsylvania. What the hell am I saying? In Eatontown, New Jersey, whatever. They have this bar area and the breakfast area. I was in charge of the breakfast area.
Yeah.
And my shift sort of ends around 12:30. And so
AM or PM?
PM.
Okay.
It started like 6 a.m., whatever. So I remember you see like this yeshiva guy, he's decked out, he sits us out, hat and jacket, whatever. And you see him kind of snooping around, and I went up to him, clearly he's, and the guy that was standing next to me said, he said like a very snarky remark, not in a good light, to say like, oh, they, you Jews, they just come and they never tip, and he was pretty upset.
Oh, I see.
And so like because the area was serving bacon, I didn't wear my yarmulke.
Oh.
So I was in like this weird, should I tell him? But hey, by the way, I'm Jewish. But what I was trying to kind of whatever. So when I saw the yeshiva guy kind of walking around, I went up to him and I'm like, oh, you're here for shidduchim? He thought, like, how did you know? He's like,
right.
I trust me, I know.
Oh.
And he, I asked him, like, I'm assuming you're looking for a place to come later. He's like, yeah. I'm like, this is a great place to come. You can come, no problem. Just make sure to tip the bartender. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So we're stopping anti-Semitism one tip at a time.
And having, hopefully, successful dates, I guess, at the same time.
100%, yeah. I mean, I do think it serves a purpose. Like, you go there for an hour or so, and you kind of... If it was up to me, I'd rather go to the person's place of work. Like, that's just me. I'm a little crazy.
Okay.
Because you see the person in their real element. Like, if you're just talking to them one-on-one, it's harder to bring out.
I understand. Well, I actually didn't know that. So it's, that's a good tip to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I actually haven't gone on too many hotel dates, but I felt that it's super generic, but maybe it's not in a bad way that it's generic. I see what you're saying. You can get drinks. It's more of a relaxed atmosphere, and you don't have like any like time expiring. Like, you can stay there if you're comfortable with each other, or you can leave the date if it's not so good. But
Right. And if it's good, you're already there.
right. Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm
Max.
kidding. Okay. That's why I'm single.
Okay. But okay, so it sounds like there's pros and cons to both of the hotel lobby. I was just a little nervous about it because I know a lot of people go to the hotel lobby, so I was always nervous that I would see somebody.
Why are you nervous? That's a big thing. People are nervous they're going to see somebody, but why?
Why would I be nervous to see somebody? Well, it's kind of like I'm already anxious and nervous about going on a date, and then like to see somebody else that you kind of, for me, I'm just like, well, do I go up to the person? Should I say hi? Or like, did they date the person that I'm out with? Or did I date somebody that they know? Like, it just, I don't think it's a bad thing if they come up to say hi or if I say hi to them, but it's just kind of like another like factor to add to something that I'm already like nervous about. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but yeah, I see your point. And I guess it's
it's interesting.
It's neutral. It's good, it's bad. Because
I totally have the opposite. If I see someone I know, I of course say hi to them. I actually, whenever, if I were to walk in somewhere or if I'm on a date and someone sees me and they don't actually come and say hello, I really don't like it. Because I'm like, what? First of all, I think it helps me to begin with. Like, if someone comes up to you,
it relaxes you a little bit more.
Not just that, but it shows like, okay, this guy's like the man. He knows people. He kind of.
But then sometimes girls will be like, you're taking attention away from us.
It's not
to
like,
say hi to a friend that you already know.
So when I say you acknowledge a person, you're not there to have a 30-minute conversation. You're there to say, hey,
yeah, sure.
Good to see you. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
No, I understand.
It's more of like an acknowledgement or a wave or something. Like, to imagine they don't exist, like, I feel like I
feel like there's a difference between ignoring somebody and just like me, who's just like an anxious ball of energy, and I don't know like what to do with my hands and like what to do with my feet. And I'm just like nervous. But I don't think you should ignore somebody that you see. I think that comes off a little rude.
Is that something, is it primarily, I know like some guys also probably, but me personally, I don't care. is that like a woman thing? It's like before they even go out on a date, they're really thinking about it. They're nervous, like who's gonna see me, who's not. Is that a thing?
I can only speak for myself, really. I don't know if generally people are nervous that you're going to see somebody that you know, but I mean, I was just always nervous and anxious before a date. Even if I was excited about the date, I was still very anxious.
Okay.
So any factors to kind of reduce the anxiety, I would try. That's why when I went out with Shlomi, my now husband, who
I set up.
who Max set up, I told him that I didn't want to go in the neighborhood that I was in, because I was nervous in terms of people just seeing us. I just wanted the time for me and him and not have to like get the peripheral noise involved.
Right. Well, it's different because you were on the Upper West Side. The Upper West Side, everyone kind of lives on top of each other. And any reason to get out of the Upper West Side, I'll always say is a good reason, it's a good thing.
Well, I loved my time on the Upper West Side.
I hear.
But okay, so good. I feel like we covered subtopics in a topic, which is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was getting drinks on a first date. Mm-hmm. If you're not in a bar, obviously, if you're in a bar and you guys decided to go there for your first date, get drinks, don't get drinks. But if you are, let's say, in a restaurant for your first date, or in a place that does serve alcohol, do you get a drink or not?
Why not?
Why not?
I happen to not be a drink. I don't drink alcohol really.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I'll rather order milk or apple juice. You know, I actually make that joke all the time. If I'm
Milk or apple juice?
If I'm ever with someone and we're at like a bar setting and, 3 people before me ordered, they got, this cocktail and this.
Yeah.
And then the waiter or waitress asked me, what did you like? I'm like, you guys have any milk?
Oh,
and like the look on his face is priceless. He actually thinks I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so sorry, sir, we don't have milk. I'm like, that's okay.
Okay, so
But
milk and apple juice for Max Landisman.
Right. No, so what would, like, you're saying, what would be if you do enjoy a nice beverage, because someone's going to judge you that you're an alcoholic?
I don't know. No, not an alcoholic, but I don't know. I think it's a little out of the box if somebody does decide for whatever reason. Like, I do feel that on first dates, we're talking about specifically on first dates, that in the community, if you do order like a drink, an alcoholic beverage on your first date, it's kind of like, oh, she's living on the edge, or oh, he's living on the edge.
I think that's one of the problems, is that we care about what people think. Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
They can think what they want. You can't control it. If, you can name something you really like. Let's say I really like going to baseball games. I do like going to see my Mets, even though they really need to get better. But if I like to go to the Mets, let's say I go on a date to the Met game, and then people are like, oh, look at that guy, he goes to the Mets. I don't care. Who gives a crap? Like, who is this person? This is my life. I do what I want. It's not your problem.
So you're saying basically that the other person just shouldn't judge you?
No, why would they?
Yeah. Well, no, some people do. Some people do.
Jews love to judge, especially in this case.
I'm just saying that sometimes, like, women would get feedback, maybe don't order a drink on the first date. Maybe guys get the same feedback. I'm not so sure.
I totally disagree. And if people do that, they're making decisions based on assumptions. I find that very dangerous, to make any type of decision on an assumption.
I agree with you. I think that if somebody enjoys a cocktail, wherever you guys are in the setting that does sell alcohol, and you're in the guy decides to order a drink, like, I don't think that speaks any bad character about him. I will say, though, I went to, this is actually ironic, I was in a hotel lobby on a date, and the guy ordered 3 beers.
That's different.
I was different. Like, and he was also driving home.
Yeah, okay.
So
I was going to get to that, but you brought it up.
So I was like, oh my goodness. I don't think he's like okay to drive home. I actually asked him if he was okay to drive back, and he was like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't I be okay? I'm like, okay, well, if I had 3 beers, I probably wouldn't be able to see straight. So
Right.
just making sure.
Right. So again, yeah, if you have 3 beers on your first date, then that guy 1,000% is an alcoholic or whatever it is. That's kind of crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't order 3 Coke Zeros on a date. You know, like you get 1 or 2 maybe.
like, I was so shocked. I was like, when the waitress came over for
Keep
like,
them coming. I assume it sounds like it
he
was going
said,
really
I'll
well.
have another date. I'll have another date. I'll have another beer. And then when she came back, like half hour later, he was like, yeah, I'll take another one. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the date's probably going that bad. He has to drink through it.
So like if I was there, I actually probably asked them. But if I was out with a girl and the girl did, I'm like, well, you're paying for that. I'm not
Oh,
paying for it.
Max.
It's never
Okay.
happened to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually would. But I think there's a certain level of don't be a prick.
Don't take advantage.
Like if someone takes someone out to dinner, don't order the most expensive thing on the menu, even if the guy says it, and just kind of add to the bill constantly, especially if you're not going to go out with the guy after you made up your mind already, you don't think it's a match. Don't order dessert. It's just a complete dick move to do that.
Okay, so let's move on to another topic then. And that, I guess that is more of, should a girl on the first date offer to buy dinner or pay for the date?
So pay for the date, no. I think guys really need to step up there. But if a girl I mean, it's hard because I don't like disingenuous offers because I do think the guy definitely should pay for the first date. But if like a girl, I will tell you, like guys, at least for me, really appreciate at least like a reach. You know, like the bill comes and like there's a reach for it. It's always appreciated. But if a girl says like, oh, would you want me, like I can pay for half, and let's say the guy's like, oh, sure. Like,
So you're saying that the guy should at least pay for the majority of it.
no, I'm saying that the guy definitely should pay for the first date. So the question is, should the girl even offer? I'm like, we always appreciate the offer, but if you offer, you also have to take the risk that you will end up paying for half, which I find wrong. I do think the guy should pay for it. So if I'm the girl, I wouldn't even bother. Just say thank you, like appreciate, I really appreciate it. That.
Interesting. I think it could go either way. Good for the girl if she wants to pay. I don't think it shows any bad qualities in somebody if they want to pay for the first
If
date.
someone wants to pay for the first date, I think it's a great quality. And if anyone wants to pay for my first date, I'm all for it. But as far as like an expectation, I do think the guy should pay for the first date. It's not like a set in stone. Like if the girl's adamant, I want to pay for it, go for it. I'm not gonna
Right.
like hit him over.
But
the
in terms of you being in the restaurant then, and this girl's just racking up
So that's
bill after
ridiculous.
bill after bill, you're saying
then-
at least be a little conscious of like
Of course.
how much you actually are
It's
getting. And it wasn't like you were being like you weren't telling her what to get or anything. I'm sure you were being a gentleman and just allowing her to get what she wanted, but then it just kept going and she wouldn't stop.
Well, as far as like my case goes, number one, I'm done. I don't buy dinner, any of this stuff. It's bottled water, and not even the branded one, like the unbranded.
Okay.
Forget it. They have to love me for who I am, right?
Okay.
So, what do you call it? What I'm talking about with the, building on the bill, adding up to the bill. Use your common sense. Like, is this person like you really like as the girl? Do you like this person? You find it that you're going to continue to go out with this person? Maybe that would be different. But if you know and you're really leaning towards this is going to be it. This is a one and done, whatever. You don't need to add. I guess I'll ask you that for maybe a later time. Like, when does the girl make up her mind about the guy? Is it the first 10 seconds or whatever? But generally speaking, like if it's not flowing and you know in your head, you don't want to go out with this guy, or you're leaning towards no, why is it that you have to order dessert? You don't have to order dessert. Like, why add another?
Did she order dessert and cocktails? Or she just ordered dessert?
You're asking me in my specific case?
Yeah.
I really don't want to talk about that specific case because I feel like there's a lot more to it than just talking about.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So is that case a whole other segment, like a whole other episode?
Yeah, we could talk about that another time.
Oh no.
Yeah. We
Okay.
Could talk, yeah, but even if it's just dessert, don't order it. There's no need for it. Like why? Why is that fair? Tell me. I mean, like.
Well, maybe she was having a good time. Oh, but you're saying in this circumstance, she knew that she wasn't going to go out with you again, but she was racking up the bill.
That's right. I find that to be a
Interesting.
complete douche move. It's a douche move. It's a douche move.
I don't know, Max. A girl's got to eat.
Girls gotta eat. Full crap.
Just kidding. No, I think you do need to be a little more sensitive. But maybe sometimes you don't know where it's going and you're getting vibes that the guy likes you. And so you order dessert to spend a little bit more time. But in this case, she knew that she didn't want to go out with you again. And
That's
she was
where
just
all
stringing
roads
you
lead
along.
to. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So.
Okay, so next would be first date idea would be the botanical gardens. What do you think of that?
Expensive.
It is so expensive,
So
but
expensive.
it's so nice.
So if you're into that, I mean, I wouldn't. I went. It's amazing how nice it is, and the fact that it's in the Bronx, like, makes you believe anything is possible.
It's like an oasis away from the Bronx and the
It's
city.
very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
The only reason I'd be against it is for the money aspect, and it's not like every girl is going to say, "Oh, well, I want to go out with only a quote unquote established guy, aka he's rich." Even if you're rich, it's not like you're going out with one girl. Maybe, you know, some people are very lucky; they go out with one girl. You know, especially people. I'm only 30. I've been on maybe over 1,000. Like, I've lost count for sure. You know, I lost count after like 6,000.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like, it adds up. Just like any other dating event. Oh, it's only another $75 for sushi.
So let me ask you this then. Maybe not the first date, but if it's going well,
Yeah,
let's
sure.
say the girl's like, you know, I really enjoy the botanical gardens, and you say, oh yeah, sure, I'll take you out next time. Like like the fourth, fifth date.
I think it's very different if you know, you're starting to see that it's going well and, you know, she wants to go and make her happy, then absolutely. I feel like money is no longer an issue at that point.
Gotcha.
I feel like if you want to spend $100 on a teddy bear because you know for a fact she likes teddy bears, go for it.
Gotcha.
But like, we're talking the first date. You don't know where the hell it's going. You don't know it's going right or left. And, you know, people can make you believe one way or another. And that's where I'm really referring to. If you already like each other, this fourth or fifth date, do whatever you want. Whatever.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So that's also interesting. So I guess then we can segue into, because you never know how the first date is going to go, you don't want to invest too much too quickly.
That's right.
So
That's my opinion.
what would be the ideal date for you on the first date?
Well, if you're asking me, you're probably asking
Like Central Park with like,
honestly, I'm not into that stuff. Like, for me to meet someone at their workplace, I actually think
but
is the
sometimes they
best.
don't allow that. Like,
So
you could never meet me at my workplace.
Okay, fine. But if you're asking me like my ideal date,
Your
I would-
ideal date, if you could, you would meet them wherever they work.
I would say, yeah, like, let's say someone has an office, like, go hang out in their office.
And do what? Would you bring anything? Would you bring like
You can do whatever, yeah, whatever.
tea, coffee?
If you want, yeah. If you want to bring lunch, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But it's one of the natural settings, like, oh wow, that's so cool, that's what you do. It's just more topics to talk about.
So less formal.
It's less formal, but that's, I feel like, the best way to kind of, it's less of breaking the ice because the ice will be broken naturally. I feel like, as opposed to just sitting in a room and staring at each other and having to figure out, oh, so you're also family oriented? That's great. Nobody cares. Whatever.
Okay. So restaurants are way too expensive for the first initial date, in your opinion.
I don't even, yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't know.
You don't know.
You really just don't know. And then at the end, you are
Complete waste.
upset if you spend over, I'm sure people spend over $300.
No, okay,
It could
that's
be,
like-
it could be, oh my goodness, if you go to Mocha Red, a
I
lot
have
of people
gone to
go
Mocha
there.
Red. I got like a burger She got a drink, whatever it is. The whole thing was like over $100. I got like when I actually looked it over,
like
I'm
the bill can go up, and then the woman, not that she owes, not that anybody owes anybody anything, but you invest so much time and actual money that I understand where you can be coming from, where guys can come from and say, you know, it's getting so expensive and it's best to just meet in a less formal setting.
Even if, like, one thing that girls don't understand, and I get so mad at it, and every guy gets pissed off, is that, you know, for example, I'm in Teaneck. If I go to a girl in the Upper West Side, which probably will never happen ever again, because, you know, just not for me.
Never say never.
Yeah, never say never. Okay, that's whatever.
Never
we'll get into.
say never.
I think the Upper West Side is just such a wonderful place.
Okay.
What can I say?
Okay.
But the second I cross the bridge, I'm already out at least $30,
right?
Or whatever it is.
It's expensive to travel.
We haven't done a thing.
Yeah.
We haven't done a thing. I'm already out $30.
Yeah.
Even if we get water, I'm already down, right? And so, like, if we just do nothing and it was a terrible date, I still lose.
Right. And also, if you ask her maybe to meet somewhere, so that
you can't ask her to meet.
You can't,
first date.
because
most girls,
they would get very upset about that.
To what? To meet somewhere?
To meet somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. You have to meet them.
Yeah, you have to pick them up.
I do like this Zoom date first. I feel like for the more experienced girl who's not like 12 years old,
Oh, that's interesting.
We'll be okay to do a Zoom, because it's just a waste of time, especially if a girl's in Brooklyn or any other place.
Yeah.
Like
so Zoom date first and just feel each other out and then go from there.
Right, and then you can really feel each other out.
Oh, okay.
Right. But
if that's
you get
your
the
thing.
point. But again, like, for me to go to Brooklyn is going to take me an hour and a half one way, and it's going to take me an hour back, right?
Right, but
plus the tolls and everything.
But then I'm just playing devil's advocate. A lot of people will say you have to make make the effort. You can't just have people come to you and just they'll say that you're lazy or that she's lazy. So
no, I think the guy should definitely go to the girl, but to have this expectation that, you know, you're being set up with, or you happen to connect on an app, you don't know anything about them, especially if someone's setting you up. They 99% of the time don't know anything about them. Here's a reference. Congratulations. You know zero. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have to go all the way out there, you don't know a thing. It's a ridiculous expectation on a guy. I find that at the very least, if he wants to have a Zoom conversation or FaceTime, I think it's completely in line. Now, if after, let's say, they speak on the phone for a half hour, an hour or so, and they find that they're kind of compatible, then now I would say the guy definitely has to get his behind out to Brooklyn or wherever it is, for sure. But to tell a guy like, oh, clearly, you know, he's not interested, like, oh, he doesn't know you.
Right.
He doesn't know anything. Like, you can't expect a guy to do that. And this notion that, well, girls, you know, they spend all this time putting on makeup and this and that. Nobody told you to do that. You're doing that for yourself. Hold on. Let me finish. You can do that for yourself. No one asked you to do that. Just come. If you just present in a nice way, don't come all disheveled. That's fine. But again, I don't think it's a justification for saying, well, that means that the guy has to come to me the very first second. He has to pay for everything. Like, it's a fortune.
Right. I think that it's an interesting perspective, because Shadchanim in our
Shadchanim are stupid.
Okay, Shadchanim in the community and just a general expectation for a first date, we can say, is that the guy picks up the girl wherever she is and takes her out to either a coffee shop or a restaurant. And from what I'm hearing from you is that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Just because Shadchanim have made it the norm doesn't mean it has to be the norm.
So I want to paint.
But right, it's just because they made it the norm.
Shadchanim think they're God's gift to the earth.
Okay, well, we're not talking about them.
What I'm trying to say is, in most cases, people will send, like, just yesterday, someone sent me this. I'm very against resumes. I think they're the stupidest thing in the world. They don't explain anything. Someone sent me a piece of paper with their name on it, who their parents are, all their siblings, and references. I'm like, my response literally was like, what am I supposed to do with this? What do you want me to do with this?
Right.
How is that going to help me? How do I determine anything?
Wait, but Max, you're veering off the
Fine.
topic.
No, so it is in the same topic. The reason is because if that's how people are being set up, and then you're basically saying, by the way,
you don't know them from a hole in the wall.
You have to trust me, which I have trusted way too many people.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's a million people
Yeah,
out
no,
there.
we all definitely
To just
have done
blindly go and say, like, you're going to have to spend XYZ, X amount of hours to someone you're taking a total shot on,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Unless, which is the way I kind of set you and Shlomi up, the way I set up Moshe and Lonnie up.
Yeah.
I know this is worth a meet for sure.
Well, it was a phone call first, and then we went from there.
Even so.
Yeah.
Even so. And look what happened. It worked out.
It worked out.
To say like a phone call is bad, like, I think it's
Right.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, so they kind of normalized the man spending a lot of money, making a lot of effort to go get the girl. I will say though, the girl does get dressed up. It's not just for the guy. It's definitely for her to look good and feel good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying that's what I'm also saying that
No, right, right. But
she makes her efforts in different ways, but not necessarily for just the guy.
Right. My point about that is that that's usually the justification to saying, well, you know, guys have to drive out, they have to pay for it, but what about us? We have to put up all this makeup. No, you don't. You're doing it for yourself.
Shadchanim have made this.
Shadchanim,
No,
okay.
I'm just saying that, you know, they say if you want to get a certain guy, you got to look a certain way. So
Fine. That's they're accepting the fact that a shadchan can dictate what you can and cannot do.
right. I think we're veering off a little bit on topic, but I do like for another episode we can talk about looks.
Okay. What about
That's a good idea.
Is it important? Yes. What
No,
is it?
I'm saying for another episode, Max,
Okay,
not this
fine,
episode.
We'll talk about it. But like this note, people don't live right. If people like live right next to each other, yes, go and meet them for a cup of coffee if it really is right there.
Right.
I'm talking about if you have to drive an hour and a half, you have to pay. And in New York, you know how much these tolls are. It's literally like $20 every time you cross the freaking toll, right?
Yeah, but then again, some people will be like, "Well, suck it up, just do it."
Suck
Don't you
it
want
up.
to? Don't you want to like marry somebody? Don't you want to get married? Don't you want to put the
stupidest
effort
thing
in?
I've ever put the effort in. What happens is that if it doesn't work, you get what we call burnt out, and you need to recharge. I'm trying to limit that. Hypothetically, if you make the call first, and hypothetically, let's say it works out, there's no harm done. There's no harm done. However, if you go all the way out there, you spend all this money, there was harm done. You're now less willing to then go out to the next date
Yeah,
because
I
you're
understand.
upset that the date was totally off. You now lost some trust in, let's say, a matchmaker, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it was totally unnecessary. I've never seen a case where if you had a phone call first, that somehow destroys the possibility of anything.
Or just at least going out on a second date, right?
What do you mean a second? Yeah, you go out after the first call. You go out.
Either you feel it on the phone or you don't, you know.
Right.
And if you do, then you go out. So I think that it's, you know, I feel like it's okay to have like this barrier taken down and have less pressure for guys to have to spend an X amount, have to take a girl either to wherever they need to on the first date, you know, wherever that may be. Usually it's a restaurant, usually it's coffee, and then have to take her back home. So in that in itself is also could be expensive in terms of tolls. So Shadchanim have created, you know, this idea that the guy needs to, in my opinion, this is how I feel, that the guy kind of has to take the lead on that and either drive, pay the tolls, pay for gas, put miles on your car, and then on top of that, you have to pay for the date. I'm sure for some guys, they really just don't care, and that's great, but this is for the guys that actually do care. And have to pay rent and have to pay certain groceries and I'm sure have other financial situations that have to be paid off. Either they went to school or anything. So it's good to take that into account. And I do feel that girls have to give the guys, the benefit of the doubt of, if they want them to meet somewhere or even talk about it on the first date.
Totally. But in my, the point that I'm trying to stress, money is an issue, but even if you were made of money, you have an unlimited amount of money. It's not just about that. It's the mental.
Right.
The amount of time, like when a girl gets picked up, that's all she's seeing. She doesn't see that you went through an hour and a half of traffic.
Right.
Right. And the fact that when she gets dropped off at 10 o'clock, I won't make it back until 11:30, whatever. Right. There's a lot. It's not
depending on where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm talking about even normal circumstance. Teaneck, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm literally committing 2.5 hours to just driving.
Right.
So I want to hear when people say, "Ooh, well, he's not putting in the bull crap." You want to do it? Go ahead. Why don't you drive? Or if it doesn't work out, then you want to pay for it. Are you going to make up that time and you can't make up energy, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, you'll be burnt out, and it's not sustainable. There's no way.
I agree. I do agree that shadchans they shouldn't push for so much effort in terms if the guy does push back a little bit, that there should be some normalization of coming to a common ground.
And if they can't see that, then forget it. Cut ties. They are not God.
Cut ties with his shadchan.
If clearly you're not working well with them, they aren't listening to you, then don't continue to work with them.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And this notion that they're literally they determine whether you get married or not is complete BS. I think it comes a time where you have to believe in God, have your focus on God. God is the one who, not that I'm gospeling or whatever, but I'm saying he's the one that makes the match, right? It's
yes,
not
but they will say, shadchans say that they're the shaliach, they're the person that's sending you the match.
Congratulations. Does it have to go through them? Obviously,
I'm just saying that that's what they're saying. That's
they can say
what people
whatever
say.
they want.
Of course.
So does cults. So do cults. I'm God, right? I am God, right?
But yes, you had two successful matches, and one of them has 2 children.
That's right. It does. It's not rocket science. It's not. I'm a sales guy. I don't even know you, and
I don't think it's rocket science. I think people
they're
overthink it.
Everything.
Yeah, they overthink it, and if you don't do XYZ, or if you don't do it, they've been doing this for years. So, and it's worked apparently, right? So, and they want you to do it their way or the highway.
My favorite line is, "I have a good idea for you." It's an idea, right? When I set up matches, they're not ideas. I have thought this through in every possible...
They're thoughtful.
Forget about just thoughtful. I think of every way possible that it's not a good match.
Yeah.
And if I can't find one, that's when I come to you and I come with full... Remember, Moshe didn't want to go out with Lonnie. This was... A shadchan tried to...
Maybe let's not use names.
Sorry. It's too late.
Because I don't know if that couple will want to... know if they were set up, but I do want to talk about one more place for a first date.
Okay, fine.
Broadway shows or any show like the opera or the Philharmonic or the ballet.
Okay.
Or off-Broadway shows. What do you think of that for a first date?
I mean, like if someone wants to do anything, you're free to do anything.
I know that we did talk about Zoom. Okay, you Zoomed with a girl and you really liked her, and she is like, Max, I really want to go to the Philharmonic. Do you think that's a good second first date? I would say.
I mean, I think if you're gonna have a good time with it, I think it's still too early because I feel like there are a lot of douchebag girls out there that will just like, well, let's take advantage of it. He's rich, so he doesn't care. Let me go and whatever. So, but again, feel free to do whatever you want.
Not that you're saying you're super rich.
Right, whatever. No, so I'm saying I think it'd be good if you want to do that activity. Like if you're to ask yourself, like if I went with a friend, would I also enjoy it? Like even if the date isn't good, would I also enjoy it? I think that's more my approach,
Mm-hmm.
where I would just enjoy. But if I have to sit through this Philharmonic for 6 hours,
Well, so I
whatever.
guess. I guess, yeah, it does have to be like mutual in terms of if you guys like it. But I do think even if you go together on a first date, and you have something to talk about after, I think that's nice. You
Yeah,
guys can like,
my dad brought my mom to Die Hard.
oh yeah, movie.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about movies on a first date. I'm not for it. You can't do anything.
What's the difference between a movie and
A Broadway show.
what's the difference?
I feel like the entertainment is just a little different.
What does that have to do with
You
it?
can interact a little bit during a show.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. You can talk.
No, you can't. Not during a show. I mean, intermission. You can
Oh,
talk.
well, I talk during Broadway
Talk during a
shows.
show.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a guy with the dog? Please, like in golf, please be silent.
No. Maybe the people around me and my friends hate us.
That could be. But I thought it was about like, there's something to talk about after. Like you saw a show, and when you leave,
I
you
guess
can talk
so.
about like,
Yeah.
But like, is it really about talking about the show, or is it talking about the person?
What do you mean?
Meaning I feel like to build a connection, it's more about, getting to know that, like asking them about themselves versus just like,
I think though you can get to know the person through how they interpret the show.
that's true.
And you can see how you have similarities and differences and like how that makes up your the potential relationship that can form, I guess.
I hear.
I actually feel like it's good because then if you end up not agreeing on something, then you can see like how you guys disagree. You can see how you communicate about that.
Right. You can do whatever you want, but like at the second date, she already is asking, "Let's go to X, whatever." It's not like a I don't think it's if you don't want to go as a guy. Like I feel like
Yeah, you can always say
just
no.
say no.
You can always say no, but I just thought that because we have opportunities to go to these, the Broadway shows off Broadway,
So
and
go,
there's always something going on. Then I was just thinking about if it would be a good first date or bad first date. I think it would be good.
Yeah.
I really think it would be really nice.
But I think it's because both would enjoy it.
Yeah. Or if one doesn't enjoy it, then they can talk about how they didn't enjoy it. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I can't imagine me if a girl asked to go to a certain show, like to go see Barbie on Broadway, whatever. I would.
If you were like, okay, I'll go see something else, just not that, then that's understandable.
That's really what I'm referring to. Like if a girl recommends like, hey, I want to do this, but clearly it's only for her. Like I would not be so into it at all because I feel like it's unfair. Mm-hmm. It's unfair. You're only thinking about yourself instead of thinking about what can we both do together that we both would enjoy.
Well, hopefully you do go out with somebody who is thinking of both of you, where like the whole relationship is not just about her, not just about you. It's about both of you together. So.
Right. But, that's not always how it's phrased, or that's not always how the cookie crumbles.
Okay, but for Max Landisman, it may be a 4th and 5th date.
Whatever.
Along with the botanical gardens going all the way down.
Botanical gardens, whatever.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to Good for Shidduchim. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I think we covered a lot more than just first date places that are good and that are bad. Yep. If you guys want to email us, Max, can you say the email?
I forgot what is it?
Oh, crap.
It's goodforshidduchim@gmail.com.
Is it?
Sarah, how do you spell that?
Oh, no.
So go to or email us at GOOD, good, FOR, for shidduchim. And when you click your finger on the S, you have to hold down on it for about 10 seconds.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Shidduchim.
Max,
Fine.
people are not going to get on the email.
So good for shidduchim, GOOD, FOR, SHIDDUCHIM @gmail.com. Good for shidduchim @gmail.com.
Yes, and send us anything that you want us to really talk about, either topic suggestions. You guys can send us your resumes. We don't have. We can make it anonymous. You guys.
We can make it anonymous,
Anonymous, or we can say your name.
We could do whatever you want. you want to come in and we can talk about it while you're here as well,
Yeah,
we can
if
make
you
that
want to be
happen
a
as
guest
well.
on our show, please email us.
We will critique your resumes. 'Cause I'm actually know how to write professional resumes in general.
Yes, that's your
That's
job.
one of my expertise, and also your husband's very good at it as well.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yes, so definitely send us your resumes. I can guarantee you most of them are complete trash.
Oh, okay.
And-
Well, no judgments.
Yeah, no
We're
judgments.
we're not judging anybody.
I am family oriented.
Okay. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, until next time. And remember, everything will always be about shidduchim. Catch you in the next episode.